record locally to the computer. All right, you guys are up.
All righty.
Okay.
Hi, I am Olivia Lawson, and I am with St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church, and I will let my guests introduce themselves.
I
Please
am
state your name, profession, and your relation to me.
I'm Charles Lawson, owner of L&O Greek Specialties, and I'm Olivia's grandfather.
Okay, so how did you contribute to the Civil War or the Civil Rights Movement?
I'm pretty old, but I'm not that old. But anyway, my contribution to the civil rights movement as a child, I was what you call a runner. At 12 years old, what we did was we'd take the meeting notes, not notes, but the flyers, and give them out in the neighborhood to make sure that the people that was going to march or march on the Capitol that night or do whatever would have the information to do so and where the meeting places were. And they wanted to keep that secret until the time was almost there to do it so it wouldn't get out, so they wouldn't have any opposition from the Ku Klux or anybody else that was trying to stop the movement.
Okay, so did you ever feel like you were being put in danger or you were endangered while you were helping these people?
No, not really. I guess we didn't have a fear factor at that point. You know, it was all about doing good. At certain points, you know that you could be in danger, but for the most part, we just didn't think about it and just went on about our way. So that was it. And we've been pretty safe being in our community where we were. Everybody knew each other and they looked out for people. And so it would have been hard to kind of infiltrate our little territory where we stayed. So that's about it on that.
Who were you like a runner for?
Okay, the runner was for when Dr. King and Reverend Abernathy and Jesse Jackson met in our neighborhood. We would be the runners to where they would bring out the flyers to give them to us and ask us to go out in the neighborhood and pass them out so everyone would know. So I guess you could say more or less it was just for the movement that, and most of this was happening during the Selma and Montgomery March. So that's where it all began.
Did you feel like this was a cause worth fighting for, or were you like, oh, they're wasting their time?
Say that again.
Did you say, or did you think that they were like really going to change something, or were you like, oh, they might waste their time doing this?
No, it wasn't a waste of time. It was more or less, we thought we were looking for positive change, and the positive change was integration, equal rights for everybody, and that thing. And you know, and as of today, yeah, maybe we're still falling a little short, but we've come a long ways to where it was back then. So no, it was a positive. It was positive, and that should never stop and continue till everything is equal for everybody.
Were your parents supportive of when you were a runner?
Very supportive. They were more afraid than we were, so their ideas of danger was way more intricate than ours. You know, as a kid, you just go about your way and do it. But there were certain rules that they laid down that you had to abide by. And some of those rules was when the street lights came on, you needed to be where they could see you and that type of thing. So it was no nighttime out and running around and that type of thing. So they would always check to see if you were outside right at the time the street lights came on. And that was kind of a key for all of us in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm.
So was it voluntary or did you get paid?
No, it was all voluntary and strictly for the betterment of our community and society. Yeah.
So were you ever like offered any money, or did you just like refuse to take it?
No, nobody ever offered to pay us at all. So, no, it was never even that I can remember thought about pay for doing that. It was just a pleasure and a sense of duty just to do it. So, and to make everything on our end better for us.
So did you have any cool stories of when you ran, like, do you have any cool stories of the civil rights movement?
I do. I do. I have fond memories of, I guess, when the 7th of Montgomery March ended in Montgomery, and everybody was staged at St. Jude, the hospital and St. Jude High School grounds, to where everybody was. Then it was kind of like it was the most exciting time that you could have, because everybody that you thought was anybody was there. And we're talking, like I said, the Dr. King and the Reverend Abernathy and Jesse Jackson. I met Quincy Jones, Pernell Roberts from Bonanza. I also met Cheryl Lipton, an actress. I met, this Clarence Williams III, who's an actor. Also, that was a great time, because at that particular time, they didn't know their way around, and actually they didn't want to leave the grounds of St. Jude. So me having a bike with a basket on it, I would go to the store for them and get their sodas and whatever I could find to get it, and they would give me money to do that. And I would also give it to them and give them their change back. So it was a sense of duty. And like I say, it was for me as a kid, it was one of those opportunities that I probably was one of the highlights of for me as a kid, and a fun memory. Mm-hmm.
So what would your parents say you were like as a 12-year-old boy?
As a 12-year-old kid, I was always into something, but mostly positive. Actually, I started working at 11 at a grocery store for 50 cents a day. We're talking 1963, 64 time frame. And 50 cents a day was, and we called them sweet shops back then. So my job was to bag cookies and everybody for the kids that came in and buy the penny cookies, or the 2 for a penny cookies, and we call them the candy bars. We call kisses that had 4 in a pack for a penny, and that kind of stuff. So as a 12-year-old, I as an 11-year-old or 12-year-old, I graduated from working at the 50 cent a day job to 50 cents an hour job at the local supermarket. So I was always, I can say, a person that wanted. I always had a way to make money. I put it that way. So that was as a 12-year-old, they thought I would just never quit, and I saved every dime that I made. So basically. Mm-hmm.
So when you say you saved every dime that you made, what did that money go to?
Well, I guess what it went to was it went to a banking account. When I turned 12, maybe 12 and a half, I had saved my first $100. And I took a bus, my sister and I took a bus downtown for me to deposit it in the bank. And that was a big accomplishment. You're talking in 64, 65 time frame for me to work 50 cents a day and $1 or 50 cents an hour to save $100 and take it to the bank to draw interest off of it. And ever since then, I don't think I've ever been broke. So, I've always knew where I could get my next dollar from. I'll put it that way.
So what motivated you to become a runner, and how did you end up becoming a runner?
Actually, I had these friends in the neighborhood that parents owned the beauty shop where the movement meetings were. And it was the Bethunes in the neighborhood. And there was two boys, Donnell and Milton Bethune, that their mother, I can say, recruited them. And I was their best friend. So I was naturally recruited as well to take those flyers around and spread them out. So that was how I got into doing things for the movement. So.
So I imagine the talk about the police and like what you should do as if you were going to be pulled over was longer than what it is now.
If I understand the question, yeah, our parents always had to talk when you were leaving home, that how to behave and what happens if you get accosted by the police, or how to be respectful, not to get yourself in trouble, but to survive. They did not want you to be afraid, but they just wanted you to be knowledgeable that something could happen to you that might not be good if you weren't behaving yourself and that type of thing. So I guess for years and years in the Black family, in the Black community, that you would always have that talk. Your dad and your mom would tell you your things about what you do when you go out and how not to do this and what not to do, just to make it back home. So, but as kids, like I say, we were not afraid. Sometimes we just didn't know the danger that we were in. So we put it that way. Mm-hmm.
So how would you say, did you enjoy being a runner, and what opportunities did it present for you?
Well, we look forward to it, to take those flyers around, because we enjoyed the aspect of being involved. So that made it real and exciting, and we would stand out there and just wait for them to bring those flyers out to actually go out and do that. What did we provide? We provided our services, our energy, and all of that to the movement, and that was a great pleasure and a great time to know that you contributed to the movement.
And on that note, what would you say to your 12-year-old self?
I would say that you did a good job. Thank you for being involved, and thank everybody that was in the movement that brought the change about to the South at that particular time, from the Black stars to the preachers, the churches, the whole community that bound themselves together in actuality to make change. And I would just say, good job, well done.
Well, thank you, Grandpappy, for letting me interview you.
Well, thank you. You did an amazing job.
Thank you.
All right.